All right, guys, today I'm going to tell you about the toxic traits you must have to be a successful content creator. Most of these are probably going to make you think, they might piss you off, but point being, these are all things that I kind of do, and I'm not afraid to admit that I do them, but I'm also ashamed to admit that I do them, and that's why this is YouTube therapy, and I make these videos for myself because therapists cost $200 an hour and YouTube is free. So yeah, there's no editing on these videos, so feel free to skip around if you want, but I'm just going to rant and talk to you about toxic traits that you must have to be a successful content creator. And I don't care who you are. I work with some of the largest creators on the internet, largest personal brands. I've gotten over 100 million views on all my platforms. If you don't believe me, just go check them out. There's all kinds of softwares to figure it out, but I have no reason to lie to you. And then if you think I'm lying, I don't really care. So, with that said, let's talk about mindset toxicity. And if you don't have unreasonable amounts of discipline and confidence in yourself, you will not succeed at making videos. Like the people that succeed at making videos, and I have some bullet points here because I wanted to formulate my thoughts because, therapists say that you should journal to get your thoughts out. I used my own personal chatbot that we made to make content writing easier, but unreasonably disciplined to the point where it makes everyone around you upset. And that comes in many forms when it comes to making content. The biggest one is, you're going to be filming a lot. You have to film a lot. You're going to be editing even more. And editing content, even if you can outsource it, which I don't recommend you do because you need to learn the skills of editing to even tell an editor how you want that content to look, to even know how you want yourself to be perceived on the internet, because a lot of what you're sharing is uncomfortable. And I'm not talking, this is where it gets toxic in your own mind because you have to share the things that you otherwise should keep to yourself. You have to share them. And you also have to double share them because you're probably gonna have to make multiple videos about these specific things until one actually works. So not only do you have to share these uncomfortable things once, you're gonna have to do it over and over again. And then when you get one thing that you weren't comfortable to share hit, then that's a winner. You got to do it more, and you got to do it different ways. And, I don't care. Like this is specifically for people that are trying to build a personal brand, AKA put their personality into their content, which is something that is so diluted right now on the internet. If you just want to make videos about basket weaving and maybe sell a basket weaving product, this isn't really some shit that you need to listen to, but you probably should, because at some point you're going to get so sick and tired of talking about basket weaving that you're going to want to talk about other shit that interests you. And that's where your personality comes into play. And that's the true definition of a personal brand, putting your personality into your content, personal brand. So with that said, you need to be unreasonably disciplined to the point where it makes, you're sacrificing friends, you're sacrificing family, you're sacrificing time with your spouse, your girlfriend. I edit videos, when I'm editing from like the hours of 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. I also sacrifice my sleep to do that because I have a 9-year-old daughter and I have to wake up to take her to either school or summer camp or something. I got to be up at like 6:45, 7 a.m. And that's about to change because it is July 14th right now and she's starting school and she's a patrol guard or crossing guard or a safety patrol guard. And she's got to be at school at 6:45. My life isn't going to change. I'm not going to go to bed earlier. I stay up late. I watch other people's videos to get ideas. I watch my own videos to review them like game tape. I see what I did wrong. I look at the retention graphs. I'm constantly looking at the data behind my videos to the point where it's all that I think about. And, with that, while you're also being unreasonably disciplined, while probably simultaneously pissing off everyone around you, and I know that people are going to say, well, they're not good friends or you should. No. You're going to do it to the point where you're obsessed. You're going to be staring at your phone a lot. You're going to be staring at your laptop a lot. And you are going to become obsessed with it. Because if you don't become obsessed with it, you'll never succeed at it. And, like I said, I've posted thousands of videos on Instagram and TikTok. And I've edited thousands of videos for myself and clients. I run a team of editors. We do about 4,000 videos a month. And all of them are obsessed. That's what makes them all great too. That's reps. You can't fake that. Like you don't become great at something by doing it part-time, and that's kind of the world we live in now. Everybody wants to do shit half-ass and get half-ass results and then bitch on the internet and talk about how the algorithm's so hard or, when I talk about this, it doesn't work or like this isn't making money. No, you just got to keep making more videos because at the end of the day, the only way to fix, more traffic to your website, more traffic to your offer, more traffic to you as a brand is to make more videos. Or you can just spend a lot of money on ads, and arguably that's less effective these days. With that said, you have to give yourself false confidence. Let me say that again in case I decide to clip this later. You have to give yourself false confidence that what you're doing will work. But here's the kicker. With content, you don't know when it's going to work. I've been making videos. It's 2025 right now. If you go back on YouTube and you just type in Ryan McGinn BMX, there's a channel that comes up as B4BMX01. I've been making videos for like 12 years. Now, that wasn't specifically on YouTube for 12 years. I was making videos all over the place, trying to kind of find myself. And then when TikTok happened, in 2020, I went all in on TikTok and I made a video every day and I never fucking stopped. Now I make 2 videos a day, maybe even 3 or 4. We were posting 20 videos a day on trial reels like last month. I'm fortunate. I've built up a team. I have help. But if I didn't have that, I would still be posting as much as I possibly could with my current lifestyle and responsibilities. But this whole time, even me, I know content works sometime. This video isn't going to make me any money today, but it might in the future. And that's that irrational belief in yourself and belief in videos and what you have to say that you have to carry for years. You can never let that go, ever. The biggest creators still have that. MrBeast is never satisfied. Ryan Trahan will never be satisfied. Cody Sanchez will never be satisfied. Grant Cardone will never be satisfied. Graham Stephan will never be satisfied. All these creators that have huge YouTube channels, they're never satisfied with their videos because they're always thinking about the next one. And that is unreasonable belief in content, in themselves. And it's also an unreasonable amount of discipline to do that, to make a video every single day. So next, you need to brainwash yourself into knowing that sometime this will pay off. And it might not be quick. For me, it took 10 years of making videos until TikTok came along, and I caught something a little bit early, and we innovated with the cool subtitles that everybody has bastardized and fucking destroyed on the internet. So now nobody even likes them anymore. But there was a constant innovation happening. You also have to believe in the doing things that are not normal. I did the exact opposite. When I started on TikTok, everyone was filming with their iPhone and nobody was filming with a camera, especially they didn't even know you could turn your camera vertically and film. That wasn't even a thing. I turned my camera vertically and filmed, and I edited my videos and I posted them to TikTok when all the comments, if you go back in 2019 on my TikTok account, why are you editing your videos so much? This is TikTok. All this hate. You know what? I went to bed every night going, those dumbasses are fucking wrong. In my case, it worked. It took off. But that was an unreasonable belief in myself and what I was doing. And I brainwashed myself into thinking that it was legit, that this would work, And it's okay. I've made a lot of mistakes and I could have been wrong. But you know what I would have done if I was wrong? Would have probably woke up the next day and made another video, because that's what you do as a content creator. You keep making fucking videos. Next thing is you have to spend money you don't have. You got to buy cameras. You got to buy extra phones. You got to buy storage. You got to buy editing softwares. You got to outsource to other editors. You need to spend money you do not have. Unlike advertising, if you're trying to grow something, at least with ads, you spend $1,000, you lose $1,000. It's so fast. You're like, well, shit, that ad didn't work. You may not know you're doing something wrong with content, especially organic, for months, because you need at least a sizable data pool to even decide if something is worth it or not. Most people stop way too soon. The average podcast, they post 15 episodes or some shit. That's fucking pussy. 15 episodes, you can't commit to more than 15 hours of content. I'm going to talk for 45 minutes or so on this video, and it's 10:34 p.m. I made an hour and a half of content on here last week, not counting the 30 videos I posted on short form. You have to just put in the reps. And when it comes to spending money, you may need to take a risk and go on a trip that you can't afford to get a good piece of content, because as a content creator, you don't really live life anymore. You think of the next video, and that is the truth. The next video that is one that you haven't made yet, but it's going to beat the last 5. You're always thinking that. It's fucking unhealthy. That's why this is therapy. So I'm talking to you guys on the most unhealthy platform too. You have to just continue to create and create and create regardless of what you're spending, regardless of how much effort is taken, and the stuff that costs you the most money or costs you the most time, or you feel like you're taking the biggest risk, every single time I've been afraid to post a video, it's always the best video that performs. Every single time without fail. If I go to hit publish or post and I get that feeling in my stomach like, oh, this is going to piss some people off, I don't know how so-and-so is going to feel about this, those are the videos that do well. I suppress those feelings. That's why I go to therapy here. And I post the videos anyways, regardless of the consequences. And that is how you become great. You need to put yourself in situations where you know you will get hate and you will get made fun of, but you can't care. And that usually comes with stating your opinions or trying something new or trying something unreasonable, changing the platform. Like, I'm sure hundreds of people at the beginning told MrBeast he was retarded or not smart or unintelligent, or that is a giant waste of money, Jimmy. Worked out good for him. Same thing probably goes for Ryan Trahan. He comes up with a lot of ideas. People probably said ideas were stupid, they weren't smart, or, oh, that's going to be too expensive. Maybe he went through with them, maybe he didn't. This is, different for everybody. But point being is you need to put yourself into situations where you will get made fun of. Putting yourself on the internet, especially going viral on the internet, getting millions of views, you will not get positive comments. You will get beat up. You'll get punched in the face. You will get, your mental capacity will get destroyed. And you know what you got to do? Make another one tomorrow, because that one's not good enough. It'll never be good enough. So that's like the mindset involved with this. So now I want to talk about some sacrifices that you have to make that are toxic as shit. Sacrifice number one, you're probably going to develop addictions to stuff. I'm not talking like crazy stuff here. I'm talking about like you are going to overdo stuff. Specifically, and I mean my addictions, caffeine. I mean, today it's 10:30. I've had 2 sugar-free Red Bulls, a venti coffee from Starbucks, a Celsius, and a Zoa energy drink. That's probably 800 to 900 milligrams of caffeine. I have had 2 meals today because it's late, but usually I fast all day. Usually I don't eat because, I don't want to look fat on camera. So I probably have a slight eating disorder based on the fact of people are going to call you fat. You catch a wrong angle, you'll be called fat. Another addiction is nicotine. Not saying you should do this, but keeps me focused, keeps me eating less to look good on camera. So, and yeah, you will have to skip workouts to edit. You'll have to skip workouts to film. You probably have to skip workouts to travel. And I'm not saying this is like, you have to look at where you're at and and I'm not saying that this is great health advice. This is probably horrible health advice, but great things don't come without sacrifices. You don't become a great athlete without doing extreme things. And every successful content creator I know has their vices. Every single one of them. Some it's caffeine, some it's, prescription pharmaceuticals, some it's supplements. I mean, some might be addicted to nicotine pouches, it just happens. Another one is, TRT, steroids. If you start getting called fat enough, you're eventually going to believe that you're fat. So you're going to want to do everything in your power to not appear fat on camera. So you're going to become obsessed with camera angles. You're going to become obsessed with the lenses that you're using. You're going to be obsessed with what lens you use on the iPhone. I only use the 0.5. I make people film me from above with the phone tilted down because that's how Instagram models shoot their content. So they look the leanest. That's how guys have the most attractive jawline. You start learning your angles. You start learning what makes you look good. You start learning what colors to wear to make your videos appear better. I found out early on that when I wear 5-inch shorts and I don't put sleeves on my shirts, I get more views. I mean, I do happen to wear this all the time because I live in Florida and it's like a sweltering sauna 85% of the year. But I digress. I don't always wear this, but when I'm on video, I wear it a lot. And generally speaking, when I do, I know that if I film on this side, people can see my tattoos. It's going to get a couple extra seconds watch time because they're going to want to make fun of my tattoos and see what I did wrong. I know that if I film with the camera down, they're going to comment on my bottom teeth. And the more comments that they comment on my teeth, the more viral my video will go because it's engagement. The algorithm loves engagement. Your next thing you have to do is share opinions that you should keep to yourself. Well, let me revert back to the TRT and steroid conversation. I've been on TRT for 4 years. I was struggling to look lean. Now I don't really do that, but they still call me fat in the camera on videos. It never stops. It's always there. People tell you not to read the comments. I've never met a single content creator that didn't read the comments, but they're on video saying never read the comments. So do what I say, not as I do. You need to share opinions that you should absolutely 100% keep to yourself. But those are usually the ones that get you the most views because it's what everyone is thinking. You need to fake something, whether it be an entire character, your tonality, situations. Everything you do has to get people to watch your videos for longer. So it's very hard to say that you're being authentic when the algorithms force you to do things that are inauthentic. I refuse to do things that are against my values and morals. So I would encourage you to do the same and figure out where your lines are that you're not going to cross. But with society, there's not really any line that hasn't been crossed. And that shit goes viral. I mean, there's an entire platform dedicated to women who do their thing. And arguably they make more money than everybody I know. Does that have life consequences? Absolutely. Just like drinking too much caffeine or, doing things like that. Everybody loves Sam Sulik because they love the fact that he's a freak of nature and he's taking a lot of steroids. Yes, he has fans, but they also know it's not good for his health. But you can't look away. Next thing, I'm going to call out some big creators that I absolutely love their videos and have absolutely changed the platform, but it's hard to know the motivation behind things. You take a MrBeast, for example, he started loving to make videos and then he made a lot of videos. And he did that for years. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people care about his videos. And then every video, he has to top the next video and the next video and the next video. You know what happens? It starts costing a lot of money. And then you have to do things to generate money. And then you hire people and you have to pay them. And you have to, now you're not responsible for yourself anymore. You're responsible for other people's livelihoods. And other people's livelihoods are responsible for your videos and how you approach videos and how you are on camera. And that's every pretty big creator on the internet. They all have a team behind them. Many of them are not alone, but that comes with payroll. That comes with other responsibilities other than getting on camera, which starts taking up a lot of their time. And also when views start to dip, they have to do things to top the next and next video. That's why even if you take somebody like a MrBeast, curing 1,000 blind people or, helping blind people see again, even though he did the great deed of helping 1,000 people see again, he also made a shit ton of money from that video. So where is the line? I'm not saying that any of that is wrong. Like, I do believe in a value exchange, and he provides a lot of value to the world, and he gets a lot of views, and he's rewarded heavily in that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But also, let's talk about what the facts are here. He knew if he did that, he was going to get a lot of views. Then you have right now, Ryan Trahan is crushing his YouTube series, 50 States in 50 Days and raising money for St. Jude's. He's arguably done more for St. Jude's than probably St. Jude's has done for themselves for the last 10 years. He's gained almost $6 million for the foundation. But on the flip side of that, how much is he going to make from this? So there's a line of, I can do a great thing, but I will also monetize my own life and everything in the process. So there's always a give and take as far as there's a lot of benefit for me to do this. Am I only doing it to help people or am I doing this for this? Now, I'm not saying either one of those creators are doing anything wrong, and they're both incredible creators and hugely inspirational, and I watch all their shit. But the reality is, where's the line of toxicity in that? Nobody knows, but they're already thinking about the next video, even before they finish the video that they're working on. And again, I'm not calling them out and saying I wish my videos got as many views as they did. They've put in more reps than me. They've perfected their craft. Reps. Hugely inspiring, and I will watch every video. I do. I've watched every single one of the 50 State series. I've learned a shit ton. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. If you want to see perfect content, perfect execution, the best way to integrate brands and the future of like videos, Ryan Trahan is a fucking hero. But good deeds, I might make money. There's always that to be said. And there's nothing wrong with that. Value exchange for money. I am pro capitalism. So now let's go to personal toxic habits that I have. I've already kind of shared quite a few of them. I skip workouts all the time to film videos. I try to go to the 4:30 CrossFit every day. I might miss it 3 out of the 5 days in a week. I try to make up for it on the weekends. And then I usually work out hard on the weekends. And this last weekend, I tweaked my back. Because I was, I missed my workouts this week. I got to make up for it on the weekend because I don't want to look fat on camera. I want to get stronger. I want to be, because the more attractive I get, the more views I will get. That's a given. The more attractive you are, the more views you're going to get. Look at how many men and women alike have perfect physiques, get millions of views, and also, just to add insult to my injury, all of them have fucking perfect teeth. All of them. I don't like, just perfection. But I stay up all the time till 3 to 4 a.m. watching other people's content, editing my videos, watching my old videos, trying to figure out ways to further my company, trying to figure out ways to further my business. Whether I'm laying in bed, I'm thinking about it. Whether I'm sitting on my porch smoking a cigar, which is another toxic habit, I guess, but I will never stop smoking cigars. This is what I do. I drink caffeine obsessively every day. My good friend Brandon Carter, King Keto, I think he still beats me in caffeine consumption, but again, anything in the extreme is probably bad. I watch my videos and I tear my own self apart all the time. What did I say wrong? Oh, I should have said that better. Shit, I should have edited that differently. Oh, that would have done better if I did this. Constantly doing that. And then I'm even over obsessive. I keep re-editing the same video and posting it until the videos hit. You can do that on short form content. Maybe you can do it on YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to try because these videos are way too long. I basically take legal steroids to look better on camera. I take, 150 milligrams of testosterone every week. I've done Anavar. I've done Primobolan. I've done all kinds of stuff to get leaner. I also work out as much as I possibly can. I track my macros obsessively. I fast all the time because I want to tell myself that I'm doing it for health, but in reality, I'm doing it because it's less calories for the day. I get a haircut every 2 to 3 weeks without fail. And if I don't, I wear a lot of hats. And now, I'm wearing a lot of hats because also I'm going to start selling these hats. So there's a motive there too. Maybe I can save money on haircuts. I'm obsessed with camera angles. I know, again, angle down, look better. Vertical, wider lens makes you look leaner. I know that how to light myself so I look aesthetic. That's why when I make videos in like Yap style where I'm just talking to my phone, they're very hard for me because I'm like, this is like, I'm just showing myself the camera. But also those videos crush. So you got to do them both. I like to know my angles and then exploit what is working. I think the biggest toxic trait, though, is to succeed at content. That you have to piss people off. You have to divide everybody. This is different for many creators. Some creators have the benefit of being very wholesome. Ryan Trahan is an example of that. He has some of the most wholesome content on the internet today. It's really hard to dislike Ryan Trahan. I'm not him. Like, I talk and people get pissed off. That's a strength of mine, so I lean into that. Other people I know lean into that. Other people are very stoic. Other people have like a resting bitch face and you think they're angry, but they're not. There's strengths and weaknesses, and you have to learn what is your strength, what are your weaknesses. And if it's a strength, you need to exploit it because you need to get more views because that's how you make money. No controversy equals no views. No views equal no followers. No followers equal no money. That's pretty much the equation. You can't get followers without views. You can't make money without followers unless you're getting money from views, and then you don't need followers. You just need more views. So everything is cyclical. If you're not getting views, you're not getting anything. That's why I harp so much and try to tell you guys that you do need to figure out how to get as many views as possible on every video you post. And you need to optimize for that. Because without views, you get no followers. Without followers, you get no money. And if you want, you can just run ads. But running ads alone only gets you money. doesn't really gain followers, doesn't really, get you views, but you're paying for them. At least if you were running ads and you're building a personal brand or posting content organically, at least if you shut the ads off, you still have the organic content to fall back on. That's why you have to do both. So you also have, at some point, have to talk to trade of spending money on your own content. Some content is going to be designed to sell. Some content is going to be designed to just get you attention. Relevance, as I like to call it. Relevance and attention are currency. More so now than ever, and that's going to continue to be more important as we go into 2025 and towards the end of it, 2026. Like, we're moving into a world where followers don't matter. Views are the only thing that matters. So every video you post, you must get views. And that is a scary place to be for business owners, because used to be you could fall back on the followers. You could fall back on the email list. So if you're in that world right now, you need to get as many followers as possible in the shortest time frame possible, because at some point it's going to get really hard. A stat that we track in my company is followers per million views. When I started on TikTok in 2020 or 2019, every time I got a million views, I got like 30,000 followers. Now I get 750, maybe 1,000 if I'm lucky. Sometimes I get spikes and I see more than that, but it's very rare. And that's not predictable. The only thing predictable is I know how to keep my views per month in a certain line. And, toxic trait, I think my account is failing if it's not getting a minimum of 1 million views a week. I made that number up. Nobody else did. That's my standard. So, you have to know you have to divide the audience. You have to say something that's controversial, contrarian. You have to do something different. You got to show something a different way. You just got to know that if you are making 50% of the world upset, the other 50% is going to love you. And that is influence 101. That is how you get people to fall in love with you and follow you, buy your stuff eventually, and make money. You have to define a target group of people. That could be, I love avocados, I hate avocados. You can't be in the middle. You cannot be in the middle. I've heard other people using my avocado example, but I've been using that shit for like 5 years. So they stole that shit from me. Most creators lie. They say they want to provide value, but at the end of the day, they really want money. Even the niche creators out there, I'm just going to make videos helping people make videos because I like helping people make videos. Do you, or do you want to sell them a course or sell them a coaching or get jobs or get hired for a service? At the end of the day, yes, I'm trying to make money and they are too. Everyone's trying to make money. You do have to enjoy making videos because, like I said in the beginning of this video, you got to do it for a long time and make no fucking money. So there is the act of, I enjoy making videos, I enjoy creating. If I'm not creating, I'm not a great person to be around. I have an outlet with making videos. When I have problems in my life, I talk to my camera. This is how I, go through life. But at the end of the day, if these go through life videos make money someday, that's a bonus, And most people are lying if they say they want to make videos for fun. That's the truth. Like, making videos is not fun. Like, it's fun to a degree, but then it becomes a job. Everyone starts YouTube or starts making Instagram, or actually, I don't even know if they start for fun anymore. They used to. Like Casey Neistat, he created videos for fun, and then it became a job about 3 days into daily vlogging for 2 years. And at the end of that, he barely had a marriage. He definitely didn't like making videos anymore. And now he's a scarce creator. He doesn't even make that much anymore. And believe me, Casey, we want you to make videos. So again, these are things challenges you'll have in your own head of what is fun, what isn't fun. And you need to constantly try to have fun doing it, because if you're not having fun, then you're not going to do it. But at the end of the day, it's also a job. I know that if I don't make videos, I don't get leads for my company. I'm not an example for what my company can do for people. And I'm also not relevant to the world. And I think I got some shit to say that people should hear. So this is all shit that you got to tell yourself. You got to be delusional and lie to yourself and keep making videos. And then you have to sometimes do things that are going to, are kind of a bad idea. They might piss people off. It's probably unsafe, unhealthy, but you do it anyways because you want to get views. Specific example here, just about a year ago, my house has been destroyed by a hurricane twice. Hurricane Idalia put 3 feet of water in my house. We rebuilt it. It took about 6 months to rebuild. 4 months later, after we just moved back in, Hurricane Helene put 5 feet of water in my house. 2 hurricanes had destroyed my house. Exactly 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, the most epic Category 5 hurricane ever, was heading straight for Florida. And I actually, in the week between Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, I was speaking about content and video in Texas at my friend Taylor's event. I came back and I actually didn't really have much time like to do much. And everyone panicked with Hurricane Milton. Arguably, it was a Category 5. Like, it was a really bad thing to happen. Because I was displaced again for the second time, I got an apartment and decided we were on the 5th floor, so we knew we wouldn't flood. And based on Hurricane Helene and reading tide charts, which is something I never knew I'd be an expert at, and I'm not an expert, but I can read tide charts now to know how bad a hurricane's going to be because Florida is a giant flood zone. So, and I still love Florida, so don't get it twisted. I love the fucking beach. I knew we'd be on the 5th floor. We were in a brand new concrete fortress, as I called it in all my videos. And I made the decision because once I realized even if we tried to leave, it would have been unsafe to try to leave because gas was running out all over the state. So like, I didn't know, ironically, I knew exactly how far I could go when I run out of gas because I made a viral video where everybody called me a fucking idiot. Like, I knew how far I could go if I ran out of gas, and I was not ready to take that risk with my family to go drive and hope I got gas somewhere, or we just get broke down on the side of the road and we ride out a hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane in our, brand new Toyota Land Cruiser. So, and I would have left my Porsche Cayenne behind because the Land Cruiser, arguably, it's a really cool car, and I don't want anything to happen to that car. But I decided last minute to basically live stream a Category 5 hurricane. And by live stream, I mean I posted one video every hour on the hour for about 26 hours, maybe even 30 hours. I don't know. We posted 104 times in 24 hours. In those 104, and I was walking out in the rain on my balcony doing a 62-second video every hour. Why was it 62 seconds? Because I wanted to get monetized on the TikTok Creator Fund so I could make money from it. And I knew it would also be just long enough to give some context and drive some views. And I hope I could keep some watch time because it was a hurricane. And I kind of knew my family was safe because we were in basically a concrete building. And, worst come to worst, we lose power. And I'm not really afraid of that. We had lanterns and shit. Like, we had dried food. Would have been inconvenient. But it was still a Category 5 hurricane that was heading this way. So I made a video every hour on the hour. And I was rewarded with about 40 million views in 26 hours. I was on 4 different morning shows in the morning. I got on the national news right after the president. There was Biden, and then they cut right to me on my balcony to talk about the destruction in my town. I walked through floodwater to get footage. I did anything I could. I went live during what was considered the eye, and I smoked a cigar. Probably would have done that anyways, but to do it, it's kind of reckless. But, all this to say, I knew that I would be rewarded with views if I just did it. And it was probably one of the greatest things I did last year. It was the most viral I've ever been. I've gotten more views than that, but never in that short a time frame. I was actually, and here's talking about the toxic traits. I was upset that I didn't get 100 million views. I wanted 100 million views in 24 hours. Sounds laughable, but arguably it's what makes me good at what I do. So, we made money in ad revenue. Surprisingly, Facebook made about $6,000, $7,000. I made about $1,000 from TikTok by going 62 seconds. Facebook, I think Instagram gave me about $1,000. Facebook was the highest earner. But a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people said that I was a psychopath because I put my family, because I didn't leave. But you know what? They couldn't stop watching. And to wrap this up, I'm going to do it again this year. If a hurricane happens to come, because I kind of have a hatred and a disdain for hurricanes because they've cost me a lot of turmoil in my life. If I can exploit a hurricane and make some money, I'm going to do it. So in closing, this is the harsh reality of content creation. If anybody's going to argue me in the comments, cool. You're just not making enough videos or achieve enough success to deal with this yet. I encourage you to post more. You have to do things normal people won't do. You have to be somebody that's not normal. You need to be okay with being called toxic, obsessive, unhealthy. And the reality is, if you don't do this, somebody else will. And they're going to take your views. They're going to take your money. They're going to take your business. They're going to grow a personal brand. And you're going to be on the sidelines in the comments going, I just want to make niche-based videos. But, that's it for YouTube therapy. I'll see you guys next time.